Welcome to HFY Sci-Fi Love and War Story. This channel is your gateway to thrilling sci-fi adventures, where we explore alien species, intense space battles, and the mysteries of the universe. If you love stories about extraterrestrial life and epic struggles across galaxies, you're in the right place. Today, we dive into a unique tale of Leah Thean, a xenobiologist from Nexus 9, who encounters a human male, unlocking an incredible mystery about cross-species compatibility. Their journey will challenge everything they know about biology and love across galaxies. Let's begin the story. The vastness of space stretches infinitely, its darkness broken only by the distant pinpricks of stars. The camera moves slowly across this eternal void, its focus settling on Nexus 9, a gleaming beacon in the midst of the abyss. The station's silver curves shimmer like the polished surface of an ancient artifact, its smooth contours reflecting the light of nearby stars. The metallic surface gleams as if it were alive, pulsing with the quiet hum of its internal systems. The station's design is sleek, futuristic, a perfect marriage of form and function, built for collaboration between species far beyond the reach of human imagination. Inside the station, the scene is bustling with activity. Alien species of various shapes and sizes move gracefully through the clean, polished corridors. Their footsteps echo softly, blending with the hum of the station's life support systems. The air is fresh, crisp, filled with the scent of recycled oxygen and sterilized metal. Holographic panels flicker with data, while translucent glass walls allow the occasional glance into research labs, offering a brief glimpse of species interacting, observing, and learning. Leah Thean, the station's lead xenobiologist, moves through the corridor, her pace measured but uneasy. Her attire is a sleek black leather outfit, adorned with glowing blue accents that pulse softly in time with her quickening heartbeat. Her long, silvery white hair, the color of moonlight, falls in gentle waves around her shoulders, and her purple skin glows faintly under the ambient light of the station. Her green eyes dart nervously as they scan the area, every detail of the surroundings registering in her mind. She brushes a hand through her silvery locks, her fingers trembling slightly, betraying her nerves. The weight of the moment is not lost on her. Today marks a significant event in her career. Her thoughts race, spinning with questions and theories. The human male she is about to meet is not just another specimen to study. He is a part of a larger, more complex experiment, an unknown factor in her research on interspecies reproductive behavior. Humans are a mystery in many ways, and this encounter is both a personal and professional challenge. Leah breathes in deeply, trying to calm herself, her eyes narrowing as she focuses on the task ahead. She whispers under her breath, as if reminding herself. Leah, muttering softly to herself, the words almost lost in the stillness of the corridor. Calm down, Leah. He's just another research subject. The soft, mechanical voice of the station's AI chimes above her, its smooth tones breaking the stillness of the moment. AI, its voice clear and authoritative. Attention, human diplomatic vessel, relentless, has completed docking procedures. Passenger disembarking in 3 minutes. Leah stops in her tracks, her breath catching in her throat for a split second. The words register, and she stands motionless, staring at the airlock doors ahead of her. The door stands like a silent sentinel, its metallic surface smooth and cold, with a faint blue glow outlining its edges, indicating the recent docking. The air around her feels charged now, filled with an energy she can't quite place. She feels the weight of the moment settle in her chest, her heartbeat quickening even further as the countdown begins. She takes another deep breath, pushing away the nervousness, though it lingers in the pit of her stomach. The seconds stretch out in her mind. With each passing moment, her thoughts become more focused. She glances down at her suit, the glowing blue inserts pulsing gently, their rhythm matching her increasing heart rate. This encounter will be unlike anything she's experienced before. Leah, to herself, her voice softer this time, filled with determination. This is just another step in the research. Stay focused. Her gaze never leaves the airlock doors. Behind them, an entirely new world of discovery awaits. The airlock hisses open with a sharp, metallic exhale, the sound reverberating in the stillness of the docking bay. The blast of cool, recycled air rushes past Leah as she watches the doors part, her gaze fixed on the threshold. There, framed by the gleaming light of the docking bay, stands Captain Josh Dillon. The first thing Leah notices is his height, taller than she anticipated. His presence commands the space around him, and for a fleeting second, the air feels denser, charged with the gravity of his figure. His body is clad in a dark, armored suit that gleams under the artificial lights of the station. The suit's edges glow with a subtle, but unmistakable, blue light, accentuating the powerful lines of his broad shoulders and chest. The reflective blue elements pulse faintly, almost alive, in sync with the steady rhythm of his heart. As he steps forward, the armor shifts slightly, revealing strong, tanned arms beneath, the skin stretched taut over well-defined muscles that ripple with every movement. His skin is the color of sun-warmed earth, a stark contrast to the sterile environment of the station. Leah's breath catches, not just because of his appearance, but because of the way he carries himself. There's an unspoken authority in his posture, a kind of quiet confidence that seeps into the very air between them. Leah's green eyes widen involuntarily, her pulse quickening as her mind scrambles to maintain focus. She's studied humans for years, read every report, analyzed their biology, and yet, nothing prepared her for this living, breathing, undeniably human presence standing before her. Josh's eyes lock onto hers, dark and rich with warmth. There's a softness to his gaze that almost feels like an invitation, a gentle reassurance that he doesn't mean to overwhelm her, though the effect is unavoidable. Josh, smiling, his voice smooth, carrying a warmth that catches her off guard. "Dr. Thean, I understand you requested my presence specifically." His words, though casual, have an underlying thread of curiosity. He steps forward, and Leah instinctively moves to greet him. Her heart stirs, the rhythm of it picking up speed as the moment stretches on. She extends her hand toward him, fingers trembling slightly, betraying the calm facade she struggles to maintain. His large hand envelopes hers in a firm yet measured grasp, the warmth of his skin sending a ripple of heat up her arm. There's a quiet power in his grip, a subtle yet undeniable strength, but it's careful, intentional. His fingers press gently against hers, mindful of the difference in their sizes, the disparity in their physical builds. He seems to recognize the delicate balance between strength and restraint, the balance between the human and the alien. Leah, forcing a smile, her voice steady but softer than intended, "Yes, thank you for agreeing to this consultation." Their handshake lingers for just a moment longer than necessary, both caught in the silence of the exchange. Leah pulls her hand back, the slight tremor in her fingers betraying the rush of thoughts running through her head. She turns, leading Josh through the bay, the soft echo of their footsteps reverberating in the expansive silence. As they walk, the air between them feels charged. Every step seems to deepen the unspoken tension, and Leah can't help but glance at him from time to time, taking in the way his body moves, fluid, confident, like a creature in its element. His steps are purposeful, but there's an ease in them that suggests he's been here before, in spaces just like this, facing unknowns with a calm assurance. His presence is magnetic, impossible to ignore. The closer they get to the laboratory, the harder it is for Leah to keep her mind on the task at hand. "Josh," his voice breaking the silence, "this station is impressive. We have similar research facilities in the SA system, but none quite like this. The diversity, the scale of it." Leah nods, grateful for the neutral topic. It's easier to focus on the science, the data, anything to keep her mind away from the strange stirring inside her as he speaks. His words are genuine, full of admiration for the station's design, and she can't help but feel a flicker of pride for the work she's done here, even if the true nature of her research still eludes her. Leah, nodding, her voice clearer now as the adrenaline from the initial meeting begins to settle. "Yes, Nexus 9 is at the crossroads of multiple species trade routes. It makes for a perfect location to study comparative biology, an ideal setting for our research." Her pace slows as they reach the laboratory door, her mind already shifting back to the work ahead. She glances at him briefly, noting the slight tilt of his head as he surveys the space. He seems to absorb everything, taking in the faint hum of the lab's equipment, the soft glow of the holographic displays that hover in midair, the glass containers filled with preserved alien specimens. "Josh, I can see why you'd want to be stationed here. The diversity of species here must make for some fascinating studies." Leah smiles, though it's tinged with a quiet unease. She leads him inside, her eyes scanning the space quickly before focusing on the task at hand. "Leah, we focus primarily on reproductive behaviors. Studying the differences between species is enlightening. And, of course, challenging." Her voice falters slightly as she gestures toward the various holograms and specimen jars that line the walls of the laboratory. She takes a few steps toward the main console and taps a few keys, pulling up a detailed chart of human anatomy. Her fingers hover over the screen, as if unsure whether to continue. But the curiosity in Josh's eyes spurs her on. She activates the display, and the chart expands, focusing on the reproductive systems of various species. She watches as Josh's eyes flicker across the screen, his expression unreadable for a moment. "Josh," glancing at her, his tone light but curious, "seems like you've been busy, Doctor." Leah turns toward him, her mind suddenly aware of the space between them, the tension that continues to grow despite her best efforts to focus on the research. "Leah," with a quick, sharp exhale, "I've been studying humans in particular. Your species is an anomaly. Your reproductive capabilities are unlike anything else in the galaxy." The air feels heavier as she speaks, and for a brief moment, Leah wonders if she's said too much. But Josh simply meets her gaze, a playful smirk tugging at the corner of his lips. "Josh," leaning in slightly, "Well, Doctor, I have to admit I'm intrigued. What exactly are you looking to learn from me?" Leah hesitates, the scientific part of her mind momentarily distracted by the warmth in his voice. She clears her throat and steps back toward her console, trying to refocus. "Leah, human males are capable of mating every day, year-round, without the typical physical damage that would affect most species. How is that possible?" Josh's smile widens slightly, as if he's heard this question many times before but never quite in this context. He steps closer to her, his presence overwhelming in a way that has nothing to do with his physical size and everything to do with the unspoken energy he carries. "Josh, well, Doctor, we're just built differently." Leah looks at him, her expression a mixture of disbelief and intrigue, but before she can respond, the soft chime of the station's alarm cuts through the tension. The laboratory is bathed in a soft blue glow, its sleek metallic walls lined with rows of holographic displays. Each one pulses with data, intricate biological charts, DNA sequences, and anatomical studies of countless species. The air smells faintly of sterilized metal and ozone, a scent that blends with the subtle hum of the station's power systems. As Leah explains her research, her voice steady and focused, she can't help but steal glances at Josh, her thoughts momentarily interrupted by his presence. There's a magnetic energy between them, an unspoken tension hanging thick in the room. Josh, his voice calm, though a hint of curiosity lingers. You requested me specifically. Why not just review the data? Leah shifts slightly, her eyes flicking over to the display before her fingers hover over the console. For a brief moment, she hesitates. Her usual professionalism feels brittle under his gaze, but she presses on, driven by the mystery that has consumed her thoughts for so long. Leah, slightly flustered. There are inconsistencies in the data. Human males are capable of mating 365 days a year without breaking their equipment. That defies every biological law I know. Josh's lips twitch into a half smile, the amusement clear in his eyes. He shifts his weight, one hand resting on his hip, as if contemplating her words. Josh, well, yes. That's generally accurate. Leah's eyes narrow slightly, the scientific curiosity in her growing stronger. Leah, how can your body withstand such strain without recovery? Is it rapid cellular regeneration? A special structure? Josh's smile deepens, a quiet chuckle bubbling up as he steps closer, his presence commanding yet gentle. Josh, it's simpler than that. We're just built differently. Leah crosses her arms, frustration creeping into her voice. She is on the edge of something important, something she can't quite understand, and she needs answers. Leah, I need data, Captain. Empirical evidence. Josh regards her with a mixture of intrigue and amusement. The sharp, focused scientist in front of him is suddenly more interesting than any of the theoretical studies he's read about human endurance. Josh, and how exactly do you plan on gathering this evidence? Without missing a beat, Leah taps a few commands into the console, pulling up a new set of documents. Her gaze never leaves Josh's. Leah, through direct observation and controlled experimentation. Her voice betrays a hint of excitement, the scientific drive in her eyes unmistakable. Leah, smirking, you'll need to sign these consent documents. Before Josh can respond, the station's alarm blares suddenly, a harsh, shrill sound cutting through the tension in the room. The once calm atmosphere shifts abruptly as Leah's attention snaps to the flashing red lights above the console. AI, warning, unidentified vessels approaching. All personnel to emergency stations. Josh's expression shifts immediately, his demeanor hardening into the focused alertness of a seasoned soldier. The playful banter between them fades as the gravity of the situation settles in. Leah's heart skips a beat. Her research, her questions, the growing curiosity, it all feels distant now, as the immediate danger takes precedence. The moment is broken, but the lingering tension between them remains, unspoken and unfinished. The station's sleek, metallic walls tremble with the force of a distant impact. The sterile, artificial calm that usually blankets the Nexus 9 now crackles with the sudden intensity of a threat. The soft hum of the station's systems, usually a comforting background noise, now feels out of place, too quiet, as if the very heart of the station is holding its breath. AI, its voice calm but urgent, reverberating through the station's speakers, warning, unidentified vessels approaching. All personnel to emergency stations. Leah freezes for a moment, her fingers hovering over the console as the stark red emergency lights begin to flash overhead. The holographic displays flicker momentarily, casting strange, uneven shadows across the room. A low, grinding hum begins to vibrate through the walls, the sound growing louder with each passing second, as if the station itself were buckling under the weight of an unseen force. Josh's reaction is immediate, his body tensing like a coiled spring, the lightness in his demeanor vanishing in an instant. His eyes narrow, focus sharpening as he scans the room for a moment before his attention shifts to the door, to the sound of footsteps already hurrying past. The room seems to contract around him, his frame no longer just physically imposing but full of quiet, controlled urgency. Josh, his voice deep, no longer playful, his tone an instant transformation. What's happening? Leah's heart skips a beat. Her breath comes a little faster, and for the first time, she feels the weight of the situation settle on her shoulders. She doesn't answer immediately, her mind runs through the data, through the threat. Leah, quickly checking the external cameras on the console, her voice steady but taut. Raiders. They've been targeting research stations for technology and specimens. She watches the grainy footage on the screen as 3 sleek, menacing ships emerge from the void. Their dark, angular shapes seem to absorb the light around them, their hulls coated in matte black that makes them blend into the blackness of space. The ships glide forward with terrifying precision, their weapon systems already primed and visible. Her breath catches as the camera zooms in on the vessels, showing their aggressive design, sharp edges, jagged lines, and an air of deliberate hostility. They resemble predators circling their prey, sleek and efficient in their movements. A familiar fear claws at her chest, a reminder of just how fragile they all are out here in the vast emptiness of space. Josh's expression hardens as the realization sinks in, his jaw setting with quiet resolve. The playful banter from earlier has vanished entirely, replaced by the cold determination of a man who knows what must be done. Josh, his voice low, filled with intent, I need to get to my ship. Leah watches him for a moment, her pulse quickening as she calculates the risk. His instinct to fight is undeniable, but the situation is more complex than just making a run for it. She moves swiftly to his side, grabbing his arm before he can take another step toward the door. Leah, urgently, her voice sharp but low, the docking bay is on the other side. You'll never make it before they breach. The words leave her mouth before she can stop them, a mixture of worry and disbelief that the danger has come so quickly. Her eyes lock with his, and in that moment, everything else fades away. The walls of the station, the flashing lights, the screens filled with distant images of enemy ships, all of it blurs as her focus is drawn to Josh. For a heartbeat, they stand there, suspended in time, as if the world has paused to give them a moment to breathe. But then Josh nods, a flicker of understanding passing through his eyes. Josh, his voice steady, without hesitation, then we'll have to hold them off. His words are simple, but they carry an undeniable weight. There's no panic, no fear, only the readiness of a man who has seen this before. His hand moves to the small weapon on his hip, his fingers brushing the handle as he checks the energy levels, confirming it's ready for use. His calmness in the face of danger is almost unnerving, and yet Leah feels an odd sense of reassurance. In a moment, their roles have reversed, and he is now the one taking charge, the one who has the experience to guide them both through the chaos that is about to unfold. Leah moves to her own station, her fingers flying over the console, activating the security protocols and sealing off sections of the lab. The station responds to her commands with cold precision. Reinforced walls slide into place with a deep, echoing thud, locking them in and buying them precious moments. The camera pans across the lab, catching the sudden flicker of movement as Leah activates hidden compartments. Small, compact energy weapons slide into her hands, their cool metal comforting against her skin. She checks the weapon, her hands steady, the training she's undergone for moments like this kicking in. Leah, glancing over at Josh, her voice resolute, "We'll fight here. We can't let them reach the core." Josh nods without speaking, his eyes scanning the room as he positions himself near the door, ready for whatever comes next. Leah moves to the window, her breath catching in her throat as she watches the raider ships move closer, their sleek forms reflecting the dim light of distant stars. The silence between them is broken only by the soft hum of the station's life support systems and the distant thrum of incoming threats. Outside, the stars seem to blur as the raider ships draw nearer, their shadowy figures growing larger in the viewports. The station shudders slightly as another blast rips through the void, a distant explosion that shakes the very walls of Nexus 9. "Josh," his voice calm but carrying a sense of quiet urgency, "we're not alone in this fight." Leah turns to him, and for a moment, their eyes meet again. There's an understanding between them now, no more questions, no more doubts. The research, the science, the curiosity, they will all have to wait. Survival, protection, and the fight ahead are the only things that matter now. The station hums louder, the alarms continuing their relentless warning as the battle begins in the quiet heart of Nexus 9. Every sound, every vibration that passes through the walls now carries the weight of a singular truth: the fight for survival is upon them. The air in the laboratory feels thick, charged with an energy that has nothing to do with the hum of the station's life support systems. The emergency lights pulse a deep crimson, casting long, eerie shadows that stretch across the walls, making the room feel smaller, more enclosed. The usual sterile shine of the lab now seems oppressive, as if the very metal around them is holding its breath in anticipation. Leah's eyes flick over the array of holographic displays, but they offer no comfort, only cold data, endless analysis, and the soft whir of the station's power systems. Leah moves to a wall panel concealed beneath a series of bookshelves, her hands moving with swift precision as she inputs a security code. A subtle hum reverberates through the metal, and with a soft hiss, a hidden compartment slides open. The compartment is small, but inside, it holds a variety of compact energy weapons, sleek and streamlined, each one designed for maximum efficiency. The light reflects off their polished surfaces, their edges sharp, with glowing blue accents that pulse with quiet menace. There is no sense of hesitation in Leah's actions. She's done this before. The weapons may be unfamiliar to Josh, but to Leah, they feel like an extension of herself, cold and capable. Her hand hovers over them briefly, choosing the weapon that fits best into her grip. The familiar weight feels reassuring, grounding her as she draws it from its compartment. Josh's gaze moves from the weapons to Leah. His expression is unreadable, but his stance has shifted. He is no longer the casual observer, his posture is one of careful evaluation, his body tensed, prepared for the chaos that is about to unfold. His hands reach for one of the weapons, a sleek energy rifle with a black matte finish and glowing blue lines that pulse gently beneath the surface. As he lifts it, he inspects it with the quiet expertise of someone who has used similar weapons before. Josh, nodding in approval as he examines the weapon, "This is familiar enough to our models." Leah doesn't respond immediately. Instead, she moves to a nearby console, her fingers flying across the touch-sensitive panel as she brings up a map of the station's security systems. Her mind races through contingency plans, running the possible scenarios in her head. She taps a few more keys, triggering the activation of reinforced barriers that will slow the enemy's progress. The sound of the walls sealing themselves reverberates through the station, a deep, resonating thud that promises safety but also amplifies the quiet anxiety creeping into her chest. "Leah," her voice steady, but there's a hint of urgency, "the security team is understaffed. We'll need to do this ourselves." She doesn't look up from the console as she speaks, her focus on the array of monitors in front of her. The faint glow of the screens casts a soft light across her features, highlighting the determination in her eyes. She's not afraid. This is the reality of the station's situation: no backup, no reinforcements in sight. The responsibility is theirs alone. The weapons hum in their hands, charged and ready, but it's not just the weapons that give Leah the confidence to stand firm. It's the understanding that, for all the technology in the universe, it's still human willpower, human ingenuity, that can tip the balance between life and death. Josh adjusts his stance, the rifle held at ease but ready, as if he's preparing for a long stand. His eyes flicker toward Leah, and for the first time, there's a shared recognition between them, a mutual understanding that this battle is not just physical, but one of survival. Josh, his voice low, but filled with quiet resolve, "Then we fight together." The words hang between them, a promise, a commitment. Leah nods, her focus unwavering. The sounds of the station, its hums, its whirs fade into the background, replaced by the metallic clinks of their weapons as they prepare. Every motion is methodical, every movement deliberate. There's no more room for doubt. The raiders are coming, and the only choice now is to stand and fight. As the final preparations fall into place, the laboratory's walls now seem to pulse with anticipation. The soft glow of the holographic displays contrasts sharply with the harsh red emergency lights, creating a surreal, almost dreamlike atmosphere in the room. It's a moment suspended in time, the calm before the storm. Leah's heartbeat is steady now, her breath controlled. She meets Josh's gaze one last time before the reality of their situation crashes over them. They're ready. The distant sound of explosions rumbles through the walls of Nexus 9, a reminder that the clock is ticking. The station groans under the weight of the raider assault, the walls vibrating with the deafening force of enemy fire. Every impact sends a ripple through the structure, like the deep, resonating tremor of a heartbeat. The air is thick with the scent of ozone and heated metal, the sharp tang of burnt circuitry lingering as explosions echo in the distance, shaking the very core of Nexus 9. Red emergency lights flash, casting long, jagged shadows across the cold metal floor. The hum of the station's systems is drowned out by the shrill wail of the alarm, the shrieks of metal and the tremors of the impact merging into a disorienting cacophony. The once sterile, quiet laboratory has transformed into a battlefield, a stark contrast to the meticulous order Leah has always strived to maintain. Leah and Josh stand side by side, their weapons raised, scanning the room for any signs of movement. The flickering light casts a shadow over them, highlighting their focused expressions. The sleek, polished surfaces of the lab seem out of place in this environment, their gleam now marred by the violence unfolding just beyond the walls. Leah's breath is steady, despite the chaos around her. Her scientific precision, honed over years of study, has adapted seamlessly to the reality of combat. Each movement is fluid and controlled, every step measured, every turn calculated. Her hand grips the compact energy weapon with practiced ease, the cool metal familiar beneath her fingers. The weapon hums as it charges, ready to unleash a deadly force. Josh, a seasoned soldier, stands slightly ahead, his movements more fluid and instinctive. The energy rifle in his hands feels like an extension of his body, each shot fired with cold, unyielding accuracy. The tension in his body is palpable, but there's no sign of panic, just the focused, calm demeanor of someone who has fought in the depths of space before. His eyes scan the room constantly, every detail registering, every movement analyzed. Josh, glancing at Leah as they take up their defensive positions, his voice low, filled with respect, "You've done this before?" Leah pauses, her eyes narrowing as she scans the darkness. For a fleeting moment, she almost smiles, the faintest hint of humor behind her lips. Leah, her voice steady but tinged with the slightest trace of irony. Not like this. Their synchronized movements are almost choreographed in their precision. As one, they adjust their stances, Leah crouching low behind a reinforced console while Josh positions himself to cover the doorway. Their eyes meet briefly, a silent agreement passing between them. In this moment, they are a single unit, scientist and soldier, each relying on the other's expertise to survive. Suddenly, the door slams open, and the first raider charges into view. It's a shadow, a figure wrapped in dark, jagged armor, its eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. Leah doesn't hesitate. Her weapon flares to life with a sharp crack of energy, a bolt of pure, focused light that strikes the raider square in the chest. The figure staggers back, its armor taking the brunt of the impact, but it doesn't stop. Leah's heart skips a beat. Her mind races, calculating just a few more shots, just a few more adjustments to make. She fires again, this time hitting the raider's side, and it crumples to the ground in a heap of smoke and sparks, the threat momentarily neutralized. But Leah doesn't allow herself to relax. Her eyes are already darting to the next potential threat, her finger poised over the trigger. She glances over at Josh, her gaze meeting his briefly. There's a flicker of respect in her eyes, something more than professional admiration. In the heat of battle, their partnership has become something more, something that transcends their initial roles, their separate goals. In this moment, they are equals, sharing the weight of survival. Josh doesn't break his focus, but his lips curl upward slightly, the faintest smile of approval. Josh, with a quiet chuckle as he adjusts his stance, his eyes scanning the shadows, impressive. Leah doesn't respond, her mind entirely focused on the battle at hand. Another raider steps into view, this one armed with a plasma rifle. The shot whizzes past them, narrowly missing, and Leah instinctively dives to the side, her body rolling behind a nearby console for cover. The explosion of sound is deafening, the air around her crackling with the heat of the blast. Josh's weapon discharges in a smooth, continuous stream of energy, the shots finding their mark with lethal precision. One by one, the raiders fall back, disoriented by the unexpected resistance. Their sleek, predatory forms stumble as Josh's fire hits true, sending them crashing into the walls of the lab. The chaos continues, but in the midst of it, there's an undeniable rhythm to their movements. Leah, with the calm efficiency of a scientist, adjusting her strategy as she observes, calculating, responding with the precision of someone who knows how to think under pressure. Josh, with the practiced ease of a soldier, firing without hesitation, each shot finding its mark. Together, they are a formidable force, an unbreakable unit forged in the heat of combat. Leah fires again, hitting the last raider standing. It stumbles, its weapon falling from its hand as it collapses to the floor. For a long moment, there's nothing but silence. The echoes of battle fade, the adrenaline still coursing through their veins, but the tension lingers in the air, thick and heavy. Leah slowly rises from her crouch, her fingers still gripping the weapon tightly. She scans the room, ensuring the immediate threat has passed. Leah, her voice calm but with a hint of exhaustion. All clear. Josh lowers his weapon, his eyes scanning the aftermath of the fight. The lab is a mess, papers and equipment strewn across the floor, a thin layer of dust kicked up by the blasts, the air still tinged with the acrid scent of burning metal and ozone. He looks at Leah, his gaze lingering for a moment longer than necessary. Josh, his tone soft, but with a hint of admiration, "Nice work, Doctor." Leah, her breath coming a little quicker now, nods. Her mind races, processing what just happened, but underneath it all, there's a sense of satisfaction. They've survived this far, and together, they make a formidable team. But the job is not over yet. The battle may be won for now, but the war is just beginning. The lab, once a pristine space of scientific study, is now a battlefield in its own right. The chaos of the raider attack has left its mark: furniture overturned, papers scattered across the floor, and the faint smell of burned circuitry hanging in the air like an uninvited guest. The soft glow of the emergency lights casts long shadows across the room, heightening the eerie quiet that follows the violence. Josh stands near the door, his chest rising and falling with each breath, his expression a quiet mask of exhaustion. The fight is over, but its toll is evident. His rifle is slung over his shoulder, his hands moving absently, almost mechanically, as if trying to regain a semblance of normalcy after the rush of combat. But then, a sharp hiss of pain escapes him, and he winces as he touches his shoulder. A trickle of dark red blood stains the fabric of his armor, the impact of a raider's shot having grazed his shoulder during the battle. It's not a life-threatening wound, but it's enough to make him pause, the sharp sting of injury a reminder of the close call they'd just survived. Leah watches him, her breath catching as her scientific mind momentarily forgets the urgency of their situation. Her eyes flicker with concern, but she doesn't let it show too much. She's already in motion, moving quickly to a nearby cabinet to retrieve medical supplies. The cool, sterile instruments feel like old friends in her hands, tools for healing as familiar to her as her own research. She moves to Josh's side with practiced grace, her green eyes scanning the wound. Her fingers hover over his shoulder, her touch surprisingly gentle despite the urgency of the situation. There's a quiet tension in the air as she carefully removes his armor, the metal plates hissing open with a soft click, revealing the injury beneath. The wound isn't deep, but it's enough to have caused a painful burn. Josh's gaze meets hers, and for a moment, the battle fades into the background, leaving only the two of them. His expression softens, a slight smile tugging at the corner of his lips as he watches her work. "Josh," his voice warm, "despite the pain I've had worse." Leah doesn't look up immediately, her concentration fixed on the wound. She cleans it carefully, applying a cooling gel to the burn before placing a bandage over it. Her movements are precise, practiced, a scientist in her element, even in the midst of chaos. "Leah," with quiet concern, "you're not going anywhere. Not while I'm taking care of you." Her words are firm, yet there's a tenderness in them that surprises even her. She can feel the warmth of his skin beneath her hands, the strength of his body, but she's focused only on the task at hand, ensuring he's stable, that he's not going to bleed out on her. As she finishes applying the bandage, Josh's playful tone returns, cutting through the silence like a breath of fresh air. "Josh," with a soft chuckle, "you really are good at this, Doctor." Leah glances up at him, her lips curving into a smile despite herself. The warmth between them deepens, the tension of the battle now replaced by something more personal, more human. Leah, smiling softly, "It's what I do." Josh chuckles again, the sound rich with appreciation. He shifts slightly, testing the bandage, and despite the pain, he meets her eyes with a look of quiet gratitude. "Josh, I think I'll be fine now. You've got the magic touch." Leah shakes her head slightly, her fingers lingering on his shoulder for a brief moment longer than necessary. The feeling between them shifts, and for the first time, Leah allows herself to truly feel the gravity of the situation. There's something deeper here, something unspoken but undeniable. But she doesn't have time to dwell on it, not now. The raider attack is still fresh in her mind, the knowledge that they're not out of danger yet hanging over them like a shadow. Later that day, the lab is quieter now, though the tension still lingers in the air. The dust of battle has settled, but the weight of the events is heavy in the room. Leah finds herself alone in front of her console, the holographic displays casting their soft blue light onto her face as she reviews her research data. The screens pulse gently, displaying the genetic sequences she's studied for months. The data is mostly mundane comparative analysis of reproductive cycles, cross-species compatibility, and the standard genetic markers of the different species she's encountered. But today, something is different. Something doesn't add up. Her fingers move quickly across the console, accessing deeper layers of data, running scans and recalculations. The results appear before her, seemingly normal at first glance, but the more she looks, the more she sees anomalies in the genetic code, slight deviations from what she expects. Her eyes narrow, her heart skipping a beat as the scan continues. The results don't make sense. This isn't a typical human genetic profile. It's mixed. The DNA strands twist and curve in ways that shouldn't be possible, a strange hybrid structure emerging where there should only be human or Nexian markers. Leah leans forward, her breath caught in her throat as she processes the data. She runs the scan again, hoping for a different result. But the results are the same. It's a hybrid, a combination of human and Nexian DNA. The reality of it hits her like a cold wave, her mind struggling to process what she's seeing. Her thoughts race. This can't be right. Cross-species reproduction is theoretically impossible. The genetic differences are too vast, the cellular barriers too strong for natural conception to occur. But the scan before her doesn't lie. The evidence is undeniable. Leah, whispering to herself, disbelief coloring her voice, this can't be right. Her fingers hover over the console, but she can't seem to pull herself away from the screen. The hybrid DNA pattern stares back at her, a living, breathing impossibility. The realization begins to sink in, and with it comes a wave of nausea, a sharp, gut-wrenching sense of something monumental, a discovery that could change everything. She stands there for a moment, unmoving, her thoughts a swirl of confusion and disbelief. Her scientific mind screams that this isn't possible, but the proof before her is irrefutable. The hybrid is real. Leah places a hand over her mouth, as though trying to keep the flood of questions from spilling out. This discovery, it means everything is about to change. The quiet of the laboratory feels suffocating now, the soft hum of the systems the only sound as the reality of her findings settles over her. She doesn't know what to do next, but one thing is certain, she's not the only one who needs to know about this. The quiet hum of the Nexus 9 station surrounds them, but it feels suffocating. The walls of the laboratory loom, their cold metallic surface reflecting the dim light from the overhead panels. Leah stands in front of Josh, her hands slightly trembling as she holds the Biocan scan results in her hands. The air feels thicker now, heavier, as though the very space around them is holding its breath in anticipation. Her voice, when it comes, is barely a whisper, yet it carries a weight that presses down on both of them. Leah, her voice trembling, the words leaving her mouth before she can stop them, I'm pregnant with our child, Josh. There's a moment of silence, and then, Josh's breath catches. His body goes still, his face a study of disbelief. His eyes flicker to the screen where the hybrid DNA is displayed, an impossible combination of human and Nexian genes. The reality of it seems to settle on him slowly, his mind grasping for answers that simply aren't there. Josh, his voice rough with astonishment, that's impossible. Leah shakes her head slightly, her eyes not leaving his. The confusion in his voice only deepens her sense of urgency. She needs him to understand. She needs him to accept the gravity of what this means, not just for them, but for everything. Leah, with quiet conviction, the compatibility between our species, it's rare, almost unheard of. But our DNA, it aligns in ways that shouldn't be possible. Josh takes a step forward, his mind racing. His eyes narrow as he processes what Leah is saying, the weight of the situation crashing down on him. This is more than just a scientific anomaly. This is something deeply personal, something that could change everything. Josh, his voice thoughtful, but with an edge of disbelief still lingering, maybe it's just that we're compatible in ways science can't explain yet. Leah's eyes flicker with a mixture of emotion, relief, disbelief, and something else entirely. His reaction isn't what she expected, but it's not disappointment. It's intrigue, a fascination with the mystery that now lies between them. He's not frightened. He's fascinated. And in that moment, Leah feels a sense of calm wash over her, even as her heart races with the weight of the discovery. The lab feels different now. The walls, the sterile displays, the humming systems, they all fade into the background as Leah and Josh stand in the quiet aftermath of the impossible. The realization has changed everything. Days pass, but the weight of the revelation lingers between them, an invisible thread that connects them in ways neither of them fully understands. As they sit in Leah's quarters, the soft glow of the station's artificial sun filtering through the windows, the air feels charged with possibility. Leah watches Josh, her heart heavy with unspoken thoughts. The future looms before them, uncertain, but somehow, for the first time, she feels certain about one thing. Josh's voice breaks the silence, the determination in it unwavering. His eyes meet hers, serious, yet filled with a quiet warmth. Josh, his voice steady, but with a hint of hope, I've applied for permission to stay here permanently. To continue the research. With you. The words hang in the air, like a promise, like a future being written in real time. Leah's heart skips a beat as she processes what he's saying. This isn't just about their work anymore, it's about something deeper, something more personal. Their lives have intertwined in ways neither of them anticipated, but now, the future feels like a shared journey. Her eyes search his, looking for any trace of doubt, but she finds none. There is only certainty that this is what he wants, what they both want. Leah, her voice trembling with emotion, her heart full of the decision she's about to make, I've never been more certain about anything in my life. Her words are soft, but they carry the weight of a promise. They've come so far already, and now, they're standing on the edge of something even greater. She reaches out, her hand finding his, and in that touch, everything feels solidified. The air between them seems to hum with a quiet understanding, the bond between them growing stronger, more profound, as the weight of the future falls on them both. Their partnership, both professional and personal, is no longer just a collaboration. It is a union, built on something more than science, more than discovery. It's built on shared purpose. They share a quiet moment, the weight of the world outside the station forgotten as they sit in the stillness of their own certainty. Months pass. Nexus 9 has transformed. What was once just a research outpost has become a hub of interspecies collaboration, a beacon of hope for the future of galactic relations. Leah and Josh stand at the helm of this new era, their leadership uniting species from across the galaxy in pursuit of knowledge, understanding, and connection. Their hybrid children, now a year old, play quietly in the corner of their quarters, their laughter filling the room with a warmth that has become the heartbeat of their family. The twins, Thean and Nex, embody the union between human and Nexian, their features a delicate blend of both species. Thean's skin is a soft, shimmering lavender, while Nex's is a deeper shade of purple, with their eyes a stunning mixture of deep brown and bright green, like twin stars that shine with a light of their own. Leah watches them, her heart swelling with pride and awe. Their existence is a testament to the possibility of a future she never imagined, a future that is no longer defined by boundaries but by connection. In the quiet moments when the world feels distant, Leah finds herself reflecting on the strange, unexpected path that has led her here. Josh stands beside her, his hand resting on her shoulder, his gaze fixed on their children. The bond between them has only deepened with time, their relationship now a living testament to their shared journey, a journey that began with science but has blossomed into something far more beautiful. Something that transcends the boundaries of their species. The new research center, now thriving under their leadership, stands as a symbol of what's possible when different worlds come together, not just for mutual benefit, but for the promise of something greater. The future is not without challenges, but Leah and Josh know they will face them together, side by side. They are no longer just researchers. They are pioneers, forging a new future for all the species of the galaxy. Leah turns to Josh, her eyes meeting his with a depth of love and understanding that words cannot capture. The impossible has become their reality, and together, they will continue to shape the future. Leah, whispering, her voice full of gratitude, "We've built something incredible, Josh." Josh, with a soft smile, his voice filled with warmth and pride, "We sure have, Leah." As the camera pulls back, the sounds of their children's laughter filling the room, the future looks bright, an uncharted path ahead, but one that Leah and Josh are ready to walk together. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. We hope you enjoyed the adventure and the unexpected twists that unfolded between Leah, Josh, and their discovery. As they explore the unknown, their bond grows stronger, and new possibilities arise for interspecies connections. Stay tuned for more thrilling stories and mysteries to uncover in the vast expanse of the universe. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more sci-fi tales filled with love, war, and the wonders of the unknown. Until next time, the galaxy is waiting for the next chapter of HFY Sci-Fi Love and War story. See you in the next adventure.